And all these shell casings are for different caliber bullets, correct?
Yes.
And a gun wouldn't shoot different caliber bullets. A gun would just shoot one specific caliber, correct?
I'm sorry, I'm not a ballistics expert. I
Okay.
just know they fire.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Hollis Brown, Hollis Brown, Brown.
And good morning, Ms. Brown. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Where are you currently employed?
Atlanta Police Department, Crime Scene Unit.
If you could speak up.
Atlanta Police Department, Crime Scene Unit.
And how long have you been with
Interesting.
the crime scene unit at Atlanta Police Department?
5 years.
And has your entire career with APD been as a crime scene tech?
Yes, ma'am.
Currently, what shift do you work?
I'm currently on day watch
And what time is that?
from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Ooh, she's got that
When
night
did you
shift.
start on day watch?
July.
Prior to serving on day watch, what shift were you assigned?
I was on morning watch,
And what time is morning watch?
11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
And how long were you on morning watch?
I was on morning watch for 4 years.
And taking you to March 2022, were you working morning shift back in March of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to direct your attention to two separate locations that you responded to in March of 2022. First, I want to direct your attention to March 11th, 2022. Did you have the occasion to respond to I-7585 northbound and Fair Drive?
Yes.
And why did you respond to that location?
I was called to that scene for a homicide.
Okay. And I'm going to ask you today, do you remember the APD case number associated with that location?
No, ma'am.
Did you do a report in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Will looking at a copy of your report help refresh your memory as to the location, the APD case number?
I'm sorry.
Would taking a look at your police report help refresh your memory as to the APD case number?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Permission to approach, Your Honor? I'm going to show you what I'm going to mark as 4VBA. Is that your police report?
Yes.
And does that help refresh your memory as to the APD case number associated with that police report?
Yes.
What is the APD case number?
220700312.
And that's on March 11th?
Yes.
Why did you respond to that location?
I responded to that location for a homicide.
And about what time did you arrive at that location?
Approximately around 5.
Is that 5 a.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
And why were you requested to go to that location?
There was a vehicle on the expressway with a passenger who was deceased and another male had been transported.
What did you find when you got there?
I found a grayish looking vehicle with defects all around the driver's side, the rear, and the passenger side, with a deceased male sitting in the passenger seat, front passenger seat.
A gray vehicle? What is she talking about?
Did you see any of the shell casings?
Yes, they were in on the expressway.
Oh, this is a different shooting.
With the car, was there anything sitting on top of or around the car?
There was a handgun sitting on the roof of the vehicle,
On what side of the vehicle?
the driver's side.
And you said there was a passenger still seated in the car. Were they alive or deceased?
They were deceased.
She just answered that. Whatever.
Did you find any weapons on that individual?
He had a handgun in his waistline area.
Now, you talked about shell casings. How far did the shell casings stand on that highway?
I don't really remember too much, but I know they were before we hit the vehicle.
When you say before you hit the vehicle, what do you mean?
So they started a little bit further back, going towards where the vehicle was at.
And did you take pictures of the scene as you found it?
Yes.
And have you had the opportunity to review some of those photographs that you took on March 11, 2020?
Not the photographs.
Okay, in front of you, you have the opportunity to look at say
Crazy.
Exhibit 4 VV through
Through.
63 VV.
There we go.
Yes.
And did you look at those previously when you were, before coming into court?
Yes.
All right. And do those appear to be a fair, accurate depiction of some of the images that you took back on March 11, 2022?
Yes.
You're at this time, the state would like to admit Exhibit 4 VV through 63 VV into evidence.
Those are admitted.
How many shell casings did you recover?
I don't recall.
We're looking at a copy of your police report, help refresh your memory.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Once you've read it and your memory's been refreshed, just look up and let me know.
Yeah, we should just ask Victor. See what he thinks.
Okay.
Okay. How many shell casings did you recover?
It was 31.
Jeez.
And when you recovered those shell casings, how
Dang.
did you package the shell casings when you recovered them?
Individually in a little coin pouch.
And what did you do with the shell casings once you recovered them and packaged them in the coin pouch?
I took them back to our annex and processed them for latent prints.
Can I ask Papa or Papa?
And after processing for latent prints, what did you do with those shell casings?
I placed them back in an individual coin bag, labeled them, and then sent them off to our crime lab.
She said 31, yes.
What caliber shell casings were they?
9mm.
Now I'm going to publish first, starting with State's Exhibit 4 VV. And it should come up on your screen as well. And now also looking at 6 VV. Now I want to go to 6 VV. And then 7 VV. Is this the vehicle in which you found on the highway when you arrived at the location?
Yes.
Looks like is that an Optima?
Turn into 10 VV. $11 VV and 12 VV. What were you depicting in those 3 pictures?
The defects in the vehicle.
Yeah, it does look like a Kia. That thing got lit up.
Now looking at 14 VV. And let me go and ask, for 10, 11, and 12, what side of the vehicle were those defects on?
The driver's side.
Now looking at 14 VV and 15 VV. What were you taking pictures of in those two pictures?
The defects in the vehicle and the damage to the window.
Okay. And what side of the vehicle is that?
Passenger side?
Okay. And is that where you found the mail that you discussed earlier?
Yes.
And was the driver present when you arrived on scene?
No.
Okay. Do you know where the driver went?
I was told he had been transported.
Transported to the hospital?
Yes.
I thought she said that.
Now, starting at 19 VV,
The driver
I'm gonna
was
ask
in
you
the
to look
car.
at the packet that's in front of you. Through 51 VV, what is in 19 VV through 51 VV?
There are photos of my casings.
Okay. And are those the individual photos of the shell casing that you collected?
Yes.
All right. Now I want to go to 53 VV. '54 VV.
Thank you, Mark. Mark said the passenger was deceased.
55 VV. 56 VV. 57 VV. 58 VV. 59 VV. 60 VV. 61 VV. 62 VV. And 63 VV. Were those all the shell casings that you collected in this case?
Yes.
And looking at starting from 53 VV to 63 VV, was that the stretch of where all of the shell casings were on the highway?
Yes.
And did the shell casing start from the rear of the vehicle where you found it all the way up towards the front of the vehicle?
Yes.
And did it go past the front of the vehicle?
Yes.
That's brutal, man.
And were all the shell casings that you recovered on that scene 9mm?
Yes.
After collecting and processing the shell casings, once you went back to headquarters and after you took your pictures, did that conclude your involvement in this case?
Yes.
All right. Now I want to direct your attention to March 16th, 2022. Did you have the occasion to respond to 2830 Waters Road in Atlanta, Georgia?
Yes.
And was that about 5 days after the incident that we just looked at?
Yes.
And
Okay,
do you
so
remember
5
that
days later.
Case number.
No, ma'am.
Did you do a report in that case?
Yes, ma'am.
Will looking at a copy of your report help refresh your memory as to the case number, APD case number?
Yes, ma'am.
Permission to approach again, Your Honor.
31 shots is crazy.
I'm going to show you what I'm going to mark as 248 VVA. Do you recognize 248 VVA?
Yes.
And how do you recognize 248 VVA?
It's my report with my name on it.
And what is the APD? Does that help refresh your memory as to the APD case number associated with this case?
Yes.
What is the APD case number?
220750015.
That date was 3/16/2022.
Yes.
And what time did you respond to that location?
Around 2:30.
Is that in the morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Mics are optional, by the way.
March
me
11th incident, did you say that you responded about 5 a.m.?
Yes, ma'am.
And why did you respond to that location?
I was called to this location for a shots fired call.
And what was the weather conditions like when you responded to that location?
It was raining a lot.
You said it was.
It was raining a lot.
And does rain affect how you process a scene?
Yes, it can.
How?
It can distort my photos a little bit. It can also be hard to find certain pieces of evidence.
For example,
And when you say certain piece of evidence, what type of evidence might be more challenging to find when it's raining outside?
Casings, anything involving glass, blood.
and that's not even counting the shell
What did
casings
you
that were in
observe
the
when you
car.
first responded to that scene?
When I arrived, I noticed there were shell casings laying in the grass area by the fence. In front of the fence, there was a little street. There was casings located in the street as well. There was defects in vehicles to the next door, the house next door. There were defects also in the fence and the vehicle in front of the house.
Did you take pictures when you arrived to this location?
Yes.
And have you had the opportunity to review those photographs before your testimony here today?
Yes.
All right. Permission to approach, Your Honor?
You may.
Okay, I'm going to first show you 248 VV through 271 VV. Are these images that you saw prior to your coming into court today?
Yes.
And then I'm going to show you next 272 VV through 308 VV. Are those also items or pictures that you saw prior to your testimony today?
Yes.
And then last but not least, 309 VV through 315 VV. Had you had the opportunity to review those photos prior to your testimony here today?
Yes.
Do those appear to be fair and accurate depictions of the pictures that you took on March 16, 2022?
Yes.
You're right. This time the state would like to tender State's Exhibit 248 VV to 315 VV into evidence.
All right, those are admitted.
And permission to publish.
You may.
First, starting with 248 VV. And is that the mailbox located in front of the location?
Yes.
And what is the address on the mailbox?
2830.
Is that Waters Road?
Yes.
All right. Now looking at 249 VV. What is depicted in 249 VV?
You're shooting up
That's where the scene
everything.
occurred.
Okay. And looking at 249 VV, do you see the gate that's in front of the location?
Yes.
Are there any defects in that gate in front of the location?
Yes.
Where on the gate are the defects?
They're going to be in between the trash cans.
And for the record, is that the blue Atlanta recycling trash
Maybe
can
right
and
here?
the green trash can?
Yes.
Okay. And is that also
Maybe
where
here?
the hand is indicating on the picture?
Yes.
All right. Now looking at 252 VV. What is contained in 252 VV?
That is a vehicle parked in front of the residence.
And there's some other kind of spots on the image. Is that from the raindrops?
Yes.
All right.
Got bars on the windows too.
Looking at 253, 254, and 255 VV, is that the same vehicle that we just looked at previously?
Yes.
Okay. Now, looking at 255 VV, what, if anything, were you depicting in 255 VV?
The defect in the vehicle.
And if we can scroll in,
Scroll in.
Is that the defect that you're referring to?
Yes.
Do you recall sitting here now what side of the vehicle that defect is on?
From this photo, it looks like the passenger side,
Okay.
rear passenger window.
It doesn't look like Buckhead.
Now looking at 257 VV. What is being depicted in 257 VV?
The driver's side of the vehicle with defects.
And I'm going to show you, where are the two defects, excuse me? Or not two, where are the defects that you see?
The driver's side window.
Are there any other defects on the driver's side of the car?
I don't see, well, there's one right here below the side view mirror, a little bit further down where the mouse is.
Is that where the hand is?
Yes.
And if we can pull the photo towards the left, are there any other defects?
I can't see from this photo, so no.
Yeah, there's one right there.
Turning, if you can look behind you, are there any defects on the back window?
Right there.
It looks like it may be a defect. I can't really tell between the raindrops.
Okay. Now looking at
Why wouldn't they
258
have better
VV,
equipment for a crime scene?
is that a close-up of the defect that we saw on the front passenger, excuse me, the front driver's side window?
Yes.
All right. 259 VV. Is that a defect on the rear driver's side above the rear tire?
Yes.
260 VV. Is that a close-up of the defect that was on the front driver's side of the vehicle?
Yes.
Now looking at 261 VV. Where's this area of the home?
This is on the right side of the residence.
And this is on the front porch of the residence?
Yes.
All right. Looking at 262 and 263 VV. What were you depicting in 262 and 263 VV?
The defect in the burglar bar and also the window.
Now looking at 264 VV and 265 VV. What were you depicting in 265 VV?
Showing the defects in the doors.
Okay. And is this a defect as we zoom in at the top of the door?
Yes.
And is there another defect as we zoom in on the bottom of the door?
Yes.
If you could zoom in.
Man, they must have been pretty far away because these rounds didn't even go through the door, it looks like.
Now looking at 266, 267, and 268 VV.
Oh, they got a security cameras.
What were you depicting the security cameras?
Yes.
All right. Now looking at 269 VV, 270 VV, 271 VV. Are those the shell casings that you spoke of earlier that were on the scene when you arrived?
Yes.
And from pictures 272 through 308, are those just the individual pictures of all the shell casings that you collected?
Yes.
Right. How many shell casings did you collect?
Around 40, if I'm not mistaken.
And do you recall the types of shell casings that you collected? That's fine.
Well, okay. They were 40s, I'm sorry, they were 5.57s, 223, 40s, and 9s.
Okay. And have you had the opportunity to look at those items today before your testimony?
Yes.
Mr. Sharp. Permission to approach you again, Your Honor.
You may.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as 424 DV. You can, you come prepared. Can you look in that bag and tell me if you recognize the items in your bag? In the bag, excuse me.
Yes.
Okay. And how do you recognize those items?
All the shell
They're
casings.
casings from my
Yeesh.
scene with my handwriting.
All right. And do they appear to be in the same or similar condition as when you collected them on March 16, 2022?
The casings or the packaging?
The packaging.
Yes.
Okay. And is your identification on all of the packaging as you remember it from March of 2022, March 16th of 2022?
Yes.
Now, this time the state would like to tender and admit the contents of 424 VV into evidence.
All right, that's admitted.
Can you tell us how many of each type of shell casings did you find?
There had to have been a 22
There
in
were
there somewhere.
11 5.7s, 2 223s, 8 40 calibers, and 19 9mm.
Yeah, the 22s was what hit the door. Had to have been.
11 5x7.
2 223s, 8 40s, and 19 9mm.
When you collected those shell casings, did you do the same thing that you discussed, that you did earlier with the March 11th shell casings?
Yes.
And when you talked about the March 11th shell casings and how you packaged them, did you package the shell casing from March 11th in the similar way that you packaged these shell casings?
Yes.
And then did you turn these shell casings over to the APD crime lab in order for any further testing?
Yes.
After taking the pictures, collecting the evidence, and turning it over to APD, that concludes your involvement in this case.
Yes.
All right, court's indulgence for a moment.
To making sure she didn't have any more questions.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Cross.
There we go. And Miss Weaver is back.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Crime Scene Tech Brown. My name is Max Shard. I represent Shannon Stillwell, okay? Let me just ask you about the March 11th scene that you worked on first, okay?
That's the one from the expressway, correct?
The expressway. Now, did you write a report regarding that case?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have that report?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you need to refer to the report, just let me know if you need to refresh your recollection, okay?
Okay.
All right. March 11th, on the expressway, we saw the pictures, looked like a Kia Stinger on the right lane of the
Oh, it was a
expressway.
Stinger,
Yes.
okay.
Okay, and the car had numerous bullet holes in it, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Who were the victims in that case?
For my report, I only have one listed, and that was the driver,
And the driver, what was the driver's name?
Christian McMiller.
Okay. All right, and your understanding is 2 people were shot and ultimately died in that case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Dang.
Okay.
Sad.
Do you know if anyone has been arrested for that case?
No.
No, you don't know, or no one has?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Oh my.
I'm going to move to March 16th, okay, 2830 Waters Road. It sounds like from the pictures there's a house on Waters Road with a wooden fence around it, correct?
Yes.
And that's what your pictures reflect?
Yes.
Okay. And when you arrived, it was a rainy day, and you were doing your best to document the evidence, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And there were a number of shell casings. I think you said you collected 40, correct?
Yes.
And were they all outside the fence?
Yes.
Okay. And you noted as part of your work that there were bullet defects, there were holes in the house, in the windows, in cars that were parked in the yard, correct?
Yes.
Okay. It was consistent with people shooting from the street area towards that house, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know anyone who has been charged with shooting at that house?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, I just wanted to make sure I'm clear. Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
All right. Thank you. So,
No bullet holes in Antonio Lewis sign.
brown paper bag is labeled 424 VV, correct?
Yes.
And that's the paper bag that you put all the shell casings you collected from 2830 Waters Road, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you preserve that evidence so it could be later processed by GBI or other people for ballistics and things of that nature, correct?
Yes.
Not in hits, etc.
Yes.
All right. If I am to ask the scientists or the GBI people later on about this case, what numbers would I need to know that we're talking about the same shell casings?
There were 40 casings, so it should be numbers 1 through 40.
As far as the case number, would it go by the APD case number, or what would be the cross-reference, if you know?
I'm sorry, I don't know how GBI actually labels theirs.
Okay, but you have it in the case number that you've already given us, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. One other thing I just wanted to clarify and possibly correct. We talked about the different shell casings that were collected, right, in a total of 40.
Yes.
Okay. There was 2 223s,
Yes.
840 caliber,
Yes.
19 9mm,
Yes.
and 11 5.7 by 28, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Hill, do I have your permission to correct that? So it shouldn't say 5.7, it shouldn't say 5 times 7, it should say 5.7 by 28, correct?
Yes.
And all these shell casings are for different caliber bullets, correct?
Yes.
And a gun wouldn't shoot different caliber bullets. A gun would just shoot one specific caliber, correct?
I'm sorry, I'm not a ballistics expert. I
Okay.
just know they fire.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Oh, come on now. That's a simple. Jeez.
Okay. I have no further questions. Thank you.